Hey guys, this is Mr. A. Crizzy here, and welcome back to another TV special review. In today's special review, since it's October and Halloween's coming up like next Sunday, I feel like reviewing this classic childhood Halloween special of all time. I felt like reviewing it this year since I decided to get this over with since, I love this Halloween special ever since I was little. And I actually have two DVD versions released by Warner Brothers and Paramount. And of course that's also going to be another Peanuts Charlie Brown special. It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. Yep, that's right. I have the Paramount DVD version and the Warner Brothers DVD version as well. Yep. So for this review, for this DVD review, like almost like more like a TV special review, I'm gonna be holding the Paramount version since this is basically the DVD I grew up with the most. So. So, the story of it's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown is basically the story where like the Peanuts Charlie Brown gang are celebrating Halloween, and of course Lucy and Linus go to the pumpkin patch to pick out a pumpkin, and then after the opening credits, after the opening credits, Charlie Brown still fails to kick the football because Lucy always pulls it away, and then after that, like Linus is seen writing a letter to the Great Pumpkin, which nobody really believes him. Nobody believes that the Great Pumpkin is real or something like that. Like they believe that there's no such thing as the Great Pumpkin. But of course, Charlie Brown's sister Sally, Sally actually believes Linus, and she's like the only person who supports Linus in believing in the Great Pumpkin. And then of course on Halloween night the Peanuts gang decide they go trick-or-treating, and then of course you also got Snoopy dressed up in a World War I flying ace. Yeah. And then once everyone goes out for Halloween trick-or-treating, they find Linus in the pumpkin patch, and then of course and then after that, after they leave, Sally actually decides to stay with Linus and to wait for the Great Pumpkin. And then, of course, as the Peanuts gang, the rest of the Peanuts gang, when they go out for trick-or-treating, all Charlie Brown was getting was rocks. And, of course, you know that line, I got a rock. Yeah, he's always getting rocks, of course, in this special. And then of course, Snoopy goes on the top of this doghouse, and, dressed up in the World War I flying ace. And, Snoopy goes on top of this doghouse and pretends to be like in a war with the Red Baron, the Red Baron who's the bad one, pretending and Snoopy is pretending that his doghouse is like a red biplane fighter, of course. And then of course when the Peanuts gang are when they wrapped up trick or treating, they celebrate at a Halloween party, and then Snoopy on the other hand, he comes into the party and crashes it by when Snoopy accidentally kissed Lucy, that running gag. And then Snoopy goes up to Schroeder playing World War I tunes on his piano, but then of course Snoopy gets emotional and then ends up breaking into tears, and then after that part, Sally and Linus are both still at the pumpkin patch, and then of course Linus hears a rustling sound, and then of course he mistaken Snoopy as the Great Pumpkin. And then of course Sally had been fed up with everything that and then of course Sally had missed Halloween and all that stuff. And then of course the rest of the Peanuts gang, the Peanuts gang, they all leave Linus behind in the pumpkin patch. And then later that night at 4 o'clock in the morning, Lucy finds out that Linus is not in bed, so she goes to the pumpkin patch and they both return home. And then the special ends with Charlie Brown and Linus talking to each other, and then when Charlie Brown says that he's done stupid things in his life too, Linus vows and asking what does he mean stupid, and then of course Linus vows once again just hoping that the Great Pumpkin will return the following year. And then Charlie Brown basically listens to him as the listens to him like the ranting and the yelling as the closing credits start rolling. And it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. So it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. It's definitely an all-time Halloween classic. Yeah. I remember getting this DVD. I remember I used to have I had this DVD first when I was little. And this DVD version of It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, is actually the Paramount version. I had this when I was little, and I've had it ever since. And here's the disc right here. Look closely. There it is. And yeah, I've always loved this Halloween special ever since I was a kid, and it's got classic animation, and it's got and the voice acting itself for the kids. Like, the kids in the special do a great job voicing the characters. And the Paramount version of It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, the DVD version of Made by Paramount, this DVD also includes another Peanuts special called You're Not Elected, Charlie Brown. Yep. Yeah. And of course this Halloween special also it first came out in the 60s. It first came out on CBS, and then for a long time, all the way up until 2019, this Halloween special, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, it used to be on ABC all the time. But ever since last year, it didn't air on TV last year. But at least one of the other Peanuts specials that aired on TV last year was a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, and that actually aired on PBS. And speaking of PBS, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown actually aired on PBS yesterday. Yeah. I guess the Charlie Brown Peanuts are now owned by Apple and PBS now, because last year the holiday specials of Peanuts were streaming on Apple TV Plus, and they're still streaming on Apple TV Plus to this day, and I think starting from yesterday all the way up until November and December, PBS is going to air the other holiday specials for Peanuts. They're going to air a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving and a Charlie Brown Christmas on PBS. While at the same time, it's gonna be on Apple TV Plus as well. Oh yeah, and just like I showed earlier, I also have the Warner Brothers version of the special itself. Like the Warner Brothers version is actually the remastered deluxe edition, and this one also includes a bonus Peanuts TV special. Oh yeah, because the Warner Brothers DVD version of the special, it includes another one called It's Magic, Charlie Brown. Yep. Yeah, I also remember watching this special like It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I watched it many times, like I said, on DVD and on ABC. But back in 2019, when I was in Project Search class, me and my Project Search class actually used to watch the Peanuts holiday specials during the last half of 2019. We actually watched this DVD version when I was at Project Search class back in 2019. Yeah, that usually happened on like a Friday. Yep. Yeah. So if I had to choose between which DVD version of the special I prefer better, which one would I choose? Well, I'd say, I mean, the remastered deluxe edition I don't mind, but the Paramount DVD version, the Paramount version is basically the one I grew up the most with. Yeah. So overall, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown is an all-time Halloween classic from my childhood, and I'm gonna give It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown 5 out of 5 stars. Yeah, it definitely deserves a 5 out of 5 because this was actually considered to be one of the best Halloween specials of all time. And at least the specials, at least it's way better than Barney's Halloween Party. Barney's Halloween Party. At least It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown's a lot better than that. And I've seen better Halloween specials as well, like Toy Story of Terror, and besides Toy Story of Terror and Scared Strackless. Almost forgot about that. Scared Strackless. Oh yeah, and there was also a Monsters vs. Aliens Halloween special as well. Yeah, I think it's like, I think the Monsters vs. Aliens Halloween special was called something like Mutant Pumpkins from Outer Space, I think. Yeah. Close enough. But yeah, so yeah, it's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. It will always be my I will say it will always be my number one favorite Halloween special of all time. So there you have it, guys. That's going to be it for my TV special review on It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. And that's going to be it for this video. So make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And as always, thanks for watching. And until next time, this is Mr. A. Crizzy saying goodbye, everybody, and that's about it.